Welcome back, everybody. Today we finally get into the rear corners on our 77 bus project. So unfortunately, I've been really bad at filming everything. We kind of just jump into all of the old rusted out pieces being completely removed. You can see here I'm just finishing up removing a little piece of the passenger side cab corner that is spot welded on the inside there, where the deck lid closes up. Got to get that all removed so that way we can get the new one properly fitted and spot welded in place, so that way it'll look correct when we're all done. Getting the frame rails all cleaned up and drilling out new holes to plug weld the piece that we're going to replace in here. So the piece that we are putting up in here is a piece of donor metal that we took off of the 75 bus that we removed all of our other pieces off of. I took the outer valance off because that was kind of pitted in some spots, and then that way we could access the inside. There's some mice nests in here and there's a little bit of rust, so we removed the rust, cleaned it up with Osfo. We're getting this all fit up in here, and then we'll go ahead and primer it with rusty metal primer, and we'll probably paint it with something else before we put the outer valance on. In the process of removing it and everything, it kind of got all bent out of shape, so hammering and dollering it back in place, trying to get it to match and line up as it should. So we've got that all fitted up. It's nice and straight, level. And here it is, welded up and primed. I really took my time with measuring and trying to get the most accurate cut I possibly could for these rear cab corners. One, because they are expensive, they aren't a cheap piece of replacement metal, and two, because I wanted this to be as nice of a repair as I possibly could. As you can see, that driver's side is all tacked up in place. The seam on that is as close as I could probably get it. The replacement panels aren't perfect. We're finishing removing that battery tray on the passenger side there, cleaning it up, hammering the stuff I bent back in place, and we're just going to test fit it up in here. So there's that driver's side, all tacked in place. And measuring and transferring our marks over for the passenger side. The passenger side, for whatever reason, was really giving me issues with fitting up. I think the patch panel for the battery tray as well as the outer corner, both were a little off. For some reason, I think the battery tray, they made a little oversized, so I ended up cutting that down and re-welding it back together in order to fit properly. That would then allow the outer cab corner to sit flush and flat. There was like a weird bump out before. I ended up not having the greatest fitment, but it fit pretty tight around the light cutout, which is the main important part. I mean, that if the light doesn't fit, then we're going to have issues. So here we're grabbing that light that we took out at the start of all of this off camera, making sure that it fits in there nice and snug and that the gap and fitment all looks correct, which it did. We had already done this on the previous side before I had tacked everything all up together and ground it smooth. So this should all go back together when we're all said and done, as it should from the factory, you know. I picked up this new tool, this drum sander here from Harbor Freight. I'm just testing it out on our panel here, cleaning everything up. That way we got a nice good surface to weld on, mating that new metal to that old original factory metal up there. I picked this up to basically kind of test to see how quickly and efficiently I could remove the paint. I was debating on just paying someone to sandblast the entire bus before we painted it, but that's going to be super expensive, so I kind of wanted to see if we could do this quickly with this tool. And I think it's going to work just fine for the exterior. I'm still debating on having somebody do the interior just because there's all those little nooks and crevices, especially on the floor or like in your where your feet sit on the footwells there and stuff like that. I don't know if this is going to work that great for that. Sandblasting might kind of be our only option, but I think this is going to work excellent for the exterior on all these flatter panels. After opening up all of our little holes we had drilled previously for the plug welds, I made sure to clamp close to where we were going to plug weld it and just move that clamp up with every plug weld that I would do. Once those inner plug welds were done, I can get the outer valance skin up in here and make sure that everything's lining up and that it all looks good. So here's that finished product. Everything's tacked together, ready to be finish welded and ground flush. I think this is definitely one of my better repairs that I've done so far on this bus. You can definitely tell that I'm growing with my skill set as we're going through all of these repairs. So one step closer to finishing this thing.